Okay, Prince of Space. This is yet another movie that was on Mystery Science Theater 3000. Uh, I have held off on reviewing this one primarily because I constantly get it confused with Invasion of the Neptune Men, another amazingly similar movie that was done on Mystery Science Theater 3000, to the point where they actually brought in a character they introduced in this episode into that one, which confused me further because I watched them back to back, which is a bad idea. So I decided I should separate them, rewatch them, and then review them. So Prince of Space. Um, Aliens show up. They look, as they make fun of in the Mystery Science Theater 3000 episode, they look kind of like space chickens. They're dudes, but they have like the facial hair and then like big antenna, and they look absolutely ridiculous. I'll definitely throw a picture of them in here because they look ridiculous. Uh, this one really suffers from a lot of bad dubbing and bad translation of the script. It was very hastily and lazily done, I have to assume. There's a lot of syntax errors and just it makes it funny in the same way like you can watch an old Godzilla movie, which I grew up on doing that. So it doesn't bother me as much as it would probably bother some, but it makes for some funny moments here and there just because they were pretty lazy with the dubbing. Particularly with the main bad guy, has this really distinctive laugh that is the most contrived, like, fake laugh. It's it
Wow, that guy's nuttier than a Stucky's log.
Well, I suppose.
really is hilariously bad throughout the whole thing. Also, for some reason, the Prince of Space is not the protagonist really, but he's sort of the good guy who's fighting on behalf of Earth when these, dick aliens show up and say, we're going to take over Earth. You have 24 hours to surrender. Prince of Space is like, nah, get out of here. And then they try shooting him, and he says, your guns won't work against me, which he has to repeat constantly throughout the movie because they keep trying to shoot him. He's like, your guns don't work against me. He says that constantly. Yet they still try to shoot him. This is also sort of a Clark Kent Superman thing. Prince of Space is very obviously a character that the actual protagonists of this thing are children, which is not uncommon with these kind of movies. That happens in Godzilla movies too. And they have this guy who's a friend of theirs who works for some space program. I don't know. I think. In any case, he's smart and they like him. He is very obviously Prince of Space. It's not even vague. It's, very much a Clark Kent Superman thing. He's never around when Prince of Space is around. Prince of Space is never around when he's around, etc. So yeah, Prince of Space repeatedly saves the day. The children actually don't do much in this, as I remember. Apart from, I think at one point the bad guys think that one of the children is Prince of Space because they're really dumb. Anyway, these bad guys kidnap all of our scientists, show them their technology, and say, go back and tell your people that we're super scary and that you should surrender. And they were like, you realize we don't have political power and that kind of thing. And then it's like, oh, well. That's the most astounding thing about this, is the bad guys who are supposed to be these super intelligent warlord aliens constantly make massive mistakes. Not only trying to shoot Prince of Space and not trying to adapt their tactics, but, they could have taken over Earth pretty easily, but they kept doing things really badly. So it's kind of funny seeing them bungle their way through the whole thing. Overall, I would rather watch a Godzilla movie than watching this. I need to rewatch Invasion of the Neptune Men and then decide which one of them is actually better. But as I remember, they were astoundingly similar to the level that there's a Prince of Space character in that too, who goes by a different name. And very similar, like, bad aliens that aren't particularly clever. The MST3K riff is pretty good on this because they love, sort of latching onto the dialogue problems and the bad dubbing. It's a good episode to watch. Other than that, I don't know. What I would recommend over this movie is a very similar style movie that doesn't have a riff, called Godzilla vs. Monster Zero, alternatively Invasion of Astro Monster. You basically get the same thing with the really dumb aliens with a really obvious weak spot that are trying to conquer Earth, and really bad dubbing and dialogue. except you also get Godzilla and Rodan fighting Ghidorah. So you get the best of everything. I actually recently watched that again too because it's one of my favorite movies from being a kid. And that has all the charm that this does, but it also has giant dudes in rubber suits fighting each other, which I was kind of disappointed. There is a monster, like, at the very end of this that doesn't actually do anything, and I was like, why even throw it in there, man? There's also some really bad space battles in this. This is obviously a very cheaply made movie, so there's a lot of, like, Corman-esque effects going on, which is also delightfully cheesy. So there are things to enjoy in this. It certainly isn't as bad as, like, Godzilla's Revenge, which is really the worst possible version of this kind of thing. There's no space aliens in that, but there are the child protagonist thing, except it's way more annoyingly dubbed, and the characters just, you can't stand them at all. In this one, the children protagonists are not infinitely annoying, and they're not horribly dubbed. They're badly dubbed, but not to the point that it's like nail on chalkboard. So there you go. That's Prince of Space. I actually loosely recommend that one. It's so far from the worst I've seen on this list. Wasn't super enjoyable on its own, but not nearly so bad.
Look, it's him, the Phantom.
Ha ha, the little troublemakers, huh? We'll take care of you all right.
Help, help, help.
Well, this is a great day for us.
What do you want? You know what I want. Your rocket fuel. Those soldiers who are standing there are good examples of what my ray guns can do, Professor. So don't try my patience. Well, are you going to talk, or do you want me to start with the children? There's a safe over here. Get moving. Mars, put guards on the doors. Yes, sir.
No, Kristen, don't give it to him, Daddy. Don't.
Well, what are you waiting for? I want that safe open. This is what I want.
Let's go.
Come here, you. Cam!
Help us, Prince.
Enough. There's no use firing. Your guns won't work against me. And Phantom, give the bag back to the doctor.
Take him!
Prince, you say this,
Stand
Prince.
clear, boys.
Move on, Johnny. You're going with me. One move and he dies.
No! Let the boy go! Take the formula! Let the boy go!